And we live, man. Trying to have some content out tonight, man. Hopefully y'all doing good on the Friday. Hopefully y'all got all y'all money this week, man. Welcome to the Foul Report. You know, I'm your boy. Trying to do it right. We trying to do it right because us in the content space, we mess around and we cover so much messy stuff, drama, all this other stuff when it comes, especially when it comes to us, but when it comes to certain types and certain demographics, we don't cover it. Well, you know, your boy is here. You on the Foul Report. We can foul, you know what I'm saying? So let's see what your boy Tony Romo, as far as you this is Flight Mike, you know, shout out to Flight Mike. Me, you know, I'm always tapped into his channel. So you have Flight Mike covering this Tony Romo, and this video is a little older, a little dated. Let's see what we came out 7 days ago, so 1 week exactly, 1 calendar week. So we about to get into it, see what's really going down with Tony Romo. Did he keep his job? Well, you know what's going on. Run that back to the beginning.
This video is no highlight reel for the former NFL quarterback.
Stop driving recklessly and putting other people at danger.
Former quarterback who was sacked nearly 250 times seemed amused.
Again, with that camera on, it holds you accountable.
Quarterback who was sacked nearly 250 times seemed amused.
Again, with that camera on, it holds you accountable. So he's going to have to own this, and the cop did what they were supposed to do.
For 8 straight days, CBS said absolutely nothing about Tony Romo. Reporters called.
Oh, so in case they don't talk about it, this Tony Romo was at a golfing tournament. I think it was televised. Then he chose to drive after he on the golf course having some four. Chose to drive. Got pulled over. I think he thought sweet.
Silence. The body cam footage.
Quarterback who was sacked nearly 250 times seemed amused.
Again,
People at danger.
Former quarterback who was sacked nearly 250 times seemed amused.
Again, with that camera on, it holds you accountable. So he's going to have to own this, and the cop.
People at danger.
Former quarterback who was sacked nearly 250 times seemed amused.
Again, with that camera on, it holds you accountable. So he's going to have to own this, and the cop did what they were supposed to do.
For 8 straight days, CBS said absolutely nothing about Tony Romo. Reporters called. Silence. The body cam footage dropped. Silence. Boomer Esiason went on his radio show yesterday and said he didn't expect CBS to comment on this at all. And then on Friday morning, the network finally spoke. One sentence.
I wonder what Boomer Esiason, why did he jump? I mean, the boys probably with him, but colleagues. But I wonder why he jumped out there and said it wasn't going to say nothing about this, you know, right now. So I wonder why he jumped out there quick like that.
Show yesterday.
Did he get some intel
and said he didn't expect CBS to comment on this at all. And then on Friday morning, the network finally spoke. One sentence. Tony Romo is on leave from his role at CBS Sports until further notice. So pay attention to that language, guys. Until further notice. No timeline, no return date, and the man sliding into his chair next.
So the punishment, although we know Tony Romo is innocent until proven guilty, probably hasn't gone to court yet, I don't think. But his initial punishment, this is what I'll have to say is good about it, because this is staying consistent with everybody. They kind of just let you go without your name even being clear. Like if it's false rape accusations, you know, something like that, and they find out later you already been fired, lost money, all kind of stuff. With Shannon Sharp, all these type of different examples and situations.
Leave from his role at CBS Sports until further notice. all. And then on Friday morning, the network finally spoke. One sentence: Tony Romo is on leave from his role at CBS Sports until further notice. So pay attention to that language, guys. Until further notice. No timeline, no return date. And the man sliding into his chair next to Jim Nantz is the man that we called in our first video on this, JJ Watt. So the man that was getting paid $18 million a year, the man who was considered to be the golden boy of sports broadcasting at one point, just got benched. And if you think this is only about a traffic stop, I need you guys to pay more attention, because days before this, CBS executives were reportedly telling people that Tony Romo was safe. So I'm going to be straight up and blunt with you.
Safe. So they're cutting people out on ESPN. They're cutting salaries, contracts to make room for the main characters, you know, as far as financially. Is this the same thing they were doing in CBS, maybe?
CBS executives were reportedly telling people that Tony Romo was safe. So I'm going to be straight up and blunt with you guys. This is a revised version of my Tony Romo video yesterday. I felt like we had so much more information that I had to put in here, and we sort of repackaged this and shipped it out to you guys. I'm working on another video today, so you guys are going to get 2 videos today. And what I'm planning on doing in this video is I'm going to show you what CBS just announced and the brand new detail from the sheriff's office that changes the story again. Then I'm going to take you inside the body cam footage moment by moment, because if you haven't seen the full tape, you don't actually know why this happened. And at the end, I'm going to show you why 2 other legendary broadcasters.
Hold on. One sec. Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. Back. So we're here with Tony Romo. They're gonna go through the 2 videos. Child Flight Mike, he's put this together pretty well. Was Tony Romo already on the chopping block? And he just sealed his fate, made it easier for him.
Sort of repackaged this and shipped it out to you guys. I'm working on another video today, so you guys are going to get 2 videos today. And what I'm planning on doing in this video is I'm going to show you what CBS just announced and the brand new detail from the sheriff's office that changes the story again. Then I'm going to take you inside the body cam footage moment by moment, because if you haven't seen the full tape, you don't actually know why this happened. And at the end, I'm going to show you why 2 other legendary broadcasters got arrested for the same thing.
So if you've seen this footage, I mean, I'm not to lie, because this is the point to me. Like, thank God he didn't get hurt. Nobody else got hurt. But that could have went completely the other way. And then he's talking about going to his grandparents' house, you know. I hate to be on my high horse, but you know, I'm 751 days out of check. Alcohol free, man. Clap it up for myself, you know what I'm saying? 751 days over 2 years. Trying to keep that going. I know the place of being behind the wheel after drinking, you know what I'm saying? It's not cute, it's not funny, it's the chances we take thinking nothing is gonna happen major, thinking we're good to go, we're good to try. All it takes is you to take your eye off something for a split second and it could go bad, y'all. So God forbid. You know, so Tony Romo, just him losing his job is the least of his worries. He should be thankful he's alive. He should be thankful he didn't hurt anybody. Look at the brother Henry Riggs, from formerly of the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly of Alabama Roll Tide. He's serving a sentence, a 9-year sentence, I want to say, which was light. Consider he took a life. I don't think he took he killed or unalived a woman and a dog. Speeding at excessive miles per hour, not just an accident like going over 100 or something like that, allegedly reckless driving. He's pretty smart. Seemed like he's kept his head down for the most part, and locked up, and he came up for parole. Denied. They thought he might have a chance to try and make a comeback, you know what I'm saying, in the NFL. He's gonna have to wait for the parole board again, you know. This stuff is serious, you know. I can understand why people get themselves in this situation, so I'm not passing judgment, but it's just when we have that liquor, we think we have all the answers. We think we know what's going on. It's not always like that, you know what I'm saying? So let's go.
Kept their jobs the very new detail from the sheriff's office that changes the story again. Then I'm going to take you inside the body cam footage moment by moment, because if you haven't seen the full tape, you don't actually know why this happened. And at the end, I'm going to show you why 2 other legendary broadcasters got arrested for the same thing, kept their jobs the very next week, and Tony Romo didn't. So before we get to the content, we're running a huge GTA 6 giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe and your notifications on this channel. Now that we get all that out of the way,
there you go, man. That's a good reason to y'all to shout out to Flag Mike, the micro, the microphone, you know.
Let's get to today's video. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So let's stack what we learned on Friday morning, because it's more than just the leave of absence. First is the decision itself. It's one sentence from the network, and notably, the statement doesn't say whether CBS initiated this or if Tony Romo asked for it. But either way, the effect is still the same. JJ Watt joins Jim Nantz and Tracy Wolfson as the lead NFL broadcast team during the absence, and CBS gave no timeline, nothing about whether Tony Romo calls a single snap this season. The second thing is the part that kind of got buried today. The sheriff's office released more detail about the arrest itself. Tony Romo received 3 citations from that traffic stop, and according to the sheriff's office, there was an open container of alcohol in his Jeep, an open bottle in the passenger seat. Now hold on, I'm going to be very
well. Let me tell you from alcoholics mind perspective. Might be a little scary about having an open container in the seat. Might disguise in another bottle or something like that. But we damn sure ain't afraid of riding with no drink and just taking sips as we go. You know what I'm saying? That's sad, but it's something that could definitely happen. And it's not gonna make everything look better. You know what I'm saying? So.
On Thursday, July 23rd, just after 6 p.m., it's rush hour in downtown Milwaukee. A Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputy pulls over a Jeep at the Market interchange, and the reason matters.
Reason for my stop today is the unsafe passing on the right, cutting across the gore.
So before anybody knew whose Jeep that was, the driving itself is what got him stopped. The driver is Tony Romo, and the first thing—
So they didn't pull him over because, oh, that's Tony Romo, celebrity status. Let's go get him. Let's go. They pulled him over because he was doing the tipsy drive. You know what I'm saying? He owns the road. He's all over the place with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He got pulled over, and then maybe the lady doesn't know who he is. Yeah, I probably, I don't know. I guess Tony Romo was, he's been on face on TV. He's been a face. He used to date Britney Spears or something. So TMZ. He been like low key celebrity, you know what I'm saying? So you might know his face, but may not, didn't come out to be Tony Romo till later. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't know who he was.
You notice on the tape is how normal this entire situation starts. They literally can't hear each other over the traffic.
What did you say? It's really hard to hear you, dude.
The deputy says that they're going to have to basically yell at each other.
Can't hear you either.
Yeah, I know. We got to basically yell at each other, right?
He tells her he just left.
Like, if you ask me, he seems a little tipsy. He don't seem faded, messed up. But by the time he finished those tests and all that stuff, and they probably had him hemmed up for about an hour and 50, and the liquor start kicking in, you start wanting more, and he started acting more, under the influence, you know what I mean?
The golf tournament. He tells her that whose Jeep that was, the driving itself is what got him stopped. The driver is Tony Romo, and the first thing you notice on the tape is how normal this entire situation starts. They literally can't hear each other over the traffic.
What did you say? It's really hard to hear you, dude.
The deputy says that they're going to have to basically yell at each other.
Can't hear you either.
Yeah, I know. We got to basically yell at each other, right?
He tells her he just left a golf tournament. He tells her that he's headed to see his grandma and grandpa.
The golf course. And I'm going to meet grandma and grandpa.
And what if you had passed away?
Then comes the exchange that everybody's clipping. The deputy tells him why. The deputy says that they're going to have to basically yell at each other.
Can't hear you either.
Yeah, I know. We got to basically yell at each other, right?
He tells her he just left a golf tournament. He tells her that he's headed to see his grandma and grandpa.
Tony Romo told cops he was going to meet grandma and grandpa. He sure did say that. Well, that's not alleged.
The golf course.
Correct.
I'm going to meet grandma and grandpa.
Yeah, grandma and grandpa. Well, I would say I'm going to my grandparents' house or something, but he just pointing. So records appear shows all of his grandparents are deceased. Oh, Romo. I see where the Romos maybe came in. Ha. Crazy. Like saying dead homies or something. And rest in peace to his G parents. Wow.
What did you say? It's really hard to hear you, dude.
The deputy says that they're going to have to basically yell at each other.
Can't hear you either.
Yeah, I know. We got to basically yell at each other, right?
He tells her he just left a golf tournament. He tells her that he's headed to see his grandma and grandpa.
The golf course. And I'm going to meet grandma and grandpa.
Shout out to
Then comes the exchange that everybody's clipping. The deputy tells him why she wants him out of the car.
You are pending an OWI with investigation. Operating while intoxicated. So, based on your driving, where you were coming from, the red glassy eyes, and then the odor of an intoxicating alcoholic beverage from your breath.
Her words on the record, on camera, and Tony Romo fires back.
All right, how many drinks have you had?
0. Remember that word because it's going to matter in a few minutes. So Tony asks if he could call his
None.
lawyer. The deputy tells him that he can't. He appears to make the
0.
call anyway.
I'm thinking like I get pulled over, which hopefully doesn't ever happen again in my life. Shout out to that. I'll say, where you going? I'll say, I'm going to see grandma and grandpa. Going to see grandma and grandpa. Instead of saying like something like, I know you can't tell how people talk, but if I'm saying I'm going to see grandma and grandpa, that's not your grandma. That's not their grandma and grandpa. That's yours. So that's mine. So I'm saying I'm going to my grandparents' house. You know, that's one. Make it seem like unless they're separate, that's one. Just me thinking after the fact. And then 2, when you say how many drinks I had, 0. Hey, you had something. How many drinks you had today? So that's a trick question. So you're trying to, how many drinks you had? Oh yeah, how many did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 0, maybe. But I see that as the answer, maybe. But saying 0 versus saying, no, I didn't have any. I didn't have none. You know, that sounds more of an answer. These answers just sound. But then he's a TV broadcaster too, and he's kind of faded right now. So he probably has a lot of chemistry going up in the head right now. You know what I'm saying?
The eyes, and then the odor of an intoxicating alcoholic beverage from your breath.
Her words on the record, on camera, and Tony Romo fires back.
All right, how many drinks have you had?
What do you say?
0. Remember that.
Because I come from a golf course, you think I'm drunk. Because I'm coming from a golf course, you think I'm drunk.
All right, how many
You said that?
from your breath?
Her words on the record, on camera, and Tony Romo fires back.
All
Yeah.
right, how many drinks have you had?
0. Remember that word because it's going to matter in a few minutes. So Tony asks if he could call his lawyer.
He
And
just,
Tony Romo fires back.
I'm slow, y'all. Plus, I'm coming from the golf course, you think I'm drunk.
All right, how many drinks have you had?
It's not drunk. I think you're drunk, which probably they may, but they have to test for that, prove that, and the field sobriety test, or the breathalyzer. But they don't. It's like because you came from the golf course, you think I've been drinking, not drunk, but here.
0. Remember that word because it's going to matter in a few minutes. So Tony asks if he could call his lawyer. The deputy tells him that he can't. He appears to.
Now, I mean, if I was in a dire situation, I had a lawyer on retainer. I want to call my lawyer for like counsel in this situation. What should I do? That type of thing. But a lawyer cannot help you right here, fam. The best thing they could do to help you is just shut up. Let's say, remain silent and comply. You know what I'm saying? Get out there alive. Prove your innocence later. But unfortunately, with the videos and everything, and the allegation, the arrest, not looking too good for you.
make the call anyway. Zero. Remember that word because it's going to matter in a few minutes. So Tony asks if he could call his lawyer. The deputy tells him that he can't. He appears to make the call anyway.
You're still allowed to call my lawyer, right?
You're not.
I'm not allowed
Nope,
to.
step out of the vehicle. You're denying to step out of the vehicle.
If you don't know what it is, that's it.
Call my lawyer.
She calls for backup, and eventually he steps out.
I'll take an additional 1017. Not stepping out of the vehicle for field.
I'll do it.
And because they're standing on an elevated highway in rush hour, she tells him the tests are happening somewhere else. Guys, I need to be honest with you about what the footage does to this story. You see, last week, this was a $300 civil citation, and I told you that straight up. And that part is still true. But the tape added something that a fine can't measure, because this is not a drunk driving story anymore. This is a credibility story. A man whose entire second career is built on telling you the truth about what you're watching is now on camera.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. It's like you sitting there lying to the police, like make a story. So now when I'm sitting here listening to you commentate, are you just blowing smoke up my ass and stuff? You know, people don't like to be insulted. You know, they don't like the intelligence insulted, man, at all.
Because this is not a drunk driving story anymore. This is a credibility story. A man whose entire second career is built on telling you the truth about what you're watching is now on camera, and the whole country is deciding whether they believe him. So anyway, they take Tony Romo to the Milwaukee County Jail Sallyport for the field sobriety tests. And this is the part of the tape that's everywhere, because for 12 minutes, the deputy walks Romo through the test.
I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. Like, if this was me, I'm in that situation, you know. Hopefully I never am in a situation again. I'm nervous, y'all. They made me leave the scene from where we at to go somewhere else. That's one. I can go with you somewhere. Like, I'm already in the car. You might as well book me. I don't want to get booked, but you might as well book. Because, like, you taking me somewhere else now, closer to the police station? Oh, man. Nah, that ain't Doty.
Milwaukee County Jail Sallyport for field sobriety tests. And this is the part of the tape that's everywhere, because for 12 minutes, the deputy walks Romo through the tests. The eye tracking, the one leg stand, the walk and turn, repeating the instructions over and over as he keeps interrupting.
I'm going to make a couple of passes, okay? Top of my pen.
So what am I doing?
Make a couple.
We got to talk. Man, the way Tony Romo's talking and the way he's like, man, I feel like stuff has slowed down for him in life, man. Like he's been the football league professional. He's been in another career now. He's been among celebrities and things like that. You're gonna have a little arrogance to you, you know what I'm saying? It seems like a little smug thing, like what am I doing? Just hurry up and tell me what I'm doing, because so I can hurry up and do it, because you guys don't know what you're doing. Type 5, you know. That's just me, my opinion.
The eye tracking, the one leg stand, the walk and turn, repeating the instructions over and over as he keeps interrupting.
I'm going to make a couple of passes, okay? Top of my pen.
So what am I doing?
Make a couple of passes here, okay?
Okay, so I'm following this as you move it.
The eye tests, he keeps moving his head when he's told to keep it still.
Got to keep your head still, please.
On the walk and turn, he's asked if he understands the instructions, and Romo literally says,
Do you understand the instructions?
No, I don't. There's too many.
No, I don't. There's too many. This is a heel to toe walk, bro. Walk a line and count your steps. This man literally used to analyze defenses throughout his career in 2.5 seconds. So Romo takes his sandals off and then does the tests barefoot. He asks if he can do exercises first, because the handcuff ride over aggravated old back injuries, and he stretches for about 20 seconds.
Sorry.
And turn by taking a series of small steps.
That's that physical therapy. That's that physical therapy stretch. The one they taught you, man. You know, he probably was bothering. It probably was bothering him. He probably doesn't stand or sit in the same position for a long time, unless he's a commentator. You know, but at being faded, probably don't help him. You know, allegedly.
Over aggravated old back injuries, and he stretches for about 20 seconds.
Sorry.
And turn by taking a series of small steps with the other foot.
And there's an exchange in here that shocked me. Before the tests, the deputy asks a standard question. Any recent head injuries or concussions?
Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
Well, and that's another part right here. Throwing the NFL right under the bus, man. Shout out to you for that, because they need to be, man. Like watching yourself, you know, Waited way too long to start putting in these implementations for CTE people and, all that, people that suffer from symptoms and too much, y'all.
Stretches for about 20 seconds.
Sorry.
And turn by taking a series of small steps with the other foot.
And there's an exchange in here that shocked me. Before the tests, the deputy asks a standard question. Any recent head injuries or concussions?
Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
Where I throw him under the bus.
Over the years, yes, but not recently. No.
Which is kind of true to back up Tony. The sheriff's report says that he performed poorly on the tests, and he goes back in the handcuffs. And that's when the situation stops being about whether Tony could keep his balance, and it starts becoming about the law. Because here's what Tony Romo said in his own defense, and he said it on the tape more than once. He's had 2 back surgeries, and bending over during these exercises is genuinely hard for him.
2 back surgeries, I need to say. I really have had 2 back surgeries.
And look, I understand the jokes. The internet spent all day yesterday clowning the stretching routine, but I'm going to be fair to the man, because part of this defense is actually true. Tony Romo...
It's crazy they let him do that. That's, of course, they're going to clown him. Like, who gets to do that? All that stretching and preparation. I remember even Tiger Woods, like, they made him sit down while he was doing the test. They was going to bump him. He was faded.
2 back surgeries, I need to say. I really have had 2 back surgeries.
And look, I understand the jokes. The internet spent all day yesterday clowning the stretching routine, but I'm going to be fair to the man, because part of this defense is actually true. Tony Romo's back is not a bit. A broken vertebra in his back is literally what ended his playing career and handed Dak Prescott the Cowboys job. That's documented history, and balance-based sobriety tests being harder for people with real physical limitations are a legitimate, well-known criticism of these tests that defense lawyers make every single day.
No, I'm just drunk.
You want proof of how real this argument is? Look at what happened with Tiger Woods this past April. Tiger told law enforcement before his sobriety tests that he'd had 7 back surgeries and over 20 operations on his leg.
I've had 7 back operations, 20-some amount of operations on my leg, and my back as well.
And deputies actually had him do the exercises sitting down because of it.
If you do have injuries, I'm going to have you seated, and we're going to have you perform seated exercises. Are you okay with that?
And here's the craziest part. Tiger blew triple zeros on the breathalyzer, no alcohol, but he was still arrested because authorities said the impairment signs were there anyway. And both of these things could be true at the same time, by the way, guys. Romo's back can be a real limitation that made those tests unfair to him, and the deputy stated reasons for the stop had nothing to do with his balance. Go back to her words.
So, based on your driving, where you were coming from, the red glassy eyes, and then the odor of an intoxicating alcoholic beverage from your breath.
The driving, the red glassy eyes, the odor of alcohol on his breath. A bad back doesn't explain any of those 3. That's the hole in the defense, and it's why the next part matters so much. Remember when Tony Romo said he had 0 drinks?
All right, how many drinks have you had?
Well, if you genuinely had 0 drinks, there's a machine sitting right there that can prove it in about 10 seconds. And Tony Romo didn't touch it. He refused the preliminary breath test.
Willing to submit to a PBT machine that you blow in?
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
I've heard from all the lawyers, don't ever do that.
Saying, I've already heard from all the lawyers, don't ever do that. Then they read him Wisconsin's implied consent law, and he refused the official evidentiary test as well.
Under Wisconsin's implied consent law, will you submit to an evidentiary chemical test of your breath?
No.
And then said, like I said, I want my lawyer for the 8th time.
Like I said, I want my lawyer.
Okay.
For the 8th time.
I'm talking.
Quick sidebar, because most people don't know how this works. When you get a driver's license, you've already agreed legally in advance that if you're arrested for OWI, you'll take the chemical test.
Look at that. 0.10. Time for a little drinking pool.
That's what implied consent means. You can still refuse. Lawyers really do advise it in some situations. So Romo saying he heard it from lawyers is believable, but refusing is its own violation with its own punishment, completely separate from whether you were drunk. And that's exactly what happened here. On Monday, Romo was issued a 2nd citation for refusing to take a test for intoxication after his arrest. And after the refusals, a search warrant was filed for a mandatory blood draw. So let me stack this up for you, because the math changed since part 1. Last week, one civil citation. It's a $150 to $300 fine. This week, there's two citations, a blood draw under warrant with results pending, and a fight over his driver's license. Romo has requested a hearing to challenge the refusal citation, but he could still lose his license for up to a year. And to be clear about what we don't know what's in the blood test. Nobody does yet.
And you will, gang. Drink and drive, get arrested. You will lose your license. Your license privileges, you know what I'm saying, at the minimum. They're going to put you on restriction for a year, quote unquote suspension. They're only going you can request to get permission to drive to school, to and from, to work, to and from. That's it. God bless if you get bumped up in between that. Imagine how much money that might cost you with the Ubers and all that type of stuff, with your personal stuff.
Requested a hearing to challenge the refusal citation, but he could still lose his license for up to a year. And to be clear about what we don't know what's in the blood test. Nobody does yet. He has not been convicted of anything. Refusing a test is not an admission of guilt. It's a legal playbook, and honestly, it's a pretty common one. But the playbook came with the price tag, and the biggest cost isn't the citation. It's the fact that he said he had 0 drinks, but at the same time refused the test that would prove it. These two details are sitting next to each other in the same exact story, and every viewer gets to do their own math on that. Now, the ending I originally had for this story was about precedent, because history said that Tony Romo would be fine, and I want to show you why history was wrong this time, because this is the real story of Friday morning. April 2013, Al Michaels, the voice of Sunday Night Football, arrested at a DUI checkpoint in Santa Monica. He blows over the legal limit. He spends 5 hours in jail. NBC's response within 2 days is, we are aware of the situation and we've been in contact with Al. He never missed a game. New Year's Eve 2008, Charles Barkley fails his field sobriety tests in Scottsdale. And just like Tony Romo, he declined the breath test and got a blood test instead. But within hours, Barkley put out a statement. I am disappointed that I put myself in that situation. He pled guilty, did his 3 days, and went to the program. And TNT kept him front and center for 15 more years. So why did
Yeah, he did 3 days for in jail for the DUI. Yeah, Arizona. Charles Barkley in jail. That's crazy. 6'6", probably like 280. Slim Charles.
Disappointed that I put myself in that situation. He pled guilty, did his 3 days, and went to the program. And TNT kept him front and center for 15 more years. So why did Al Michaels and Charles Barkley keep their seats the same week and Tony Romo lost his in 8 days? Well, there's two differences, and neither one of them is the arrest. The first difference is they actually spoke out. Charles Barkley owned it within 24 hours. Michaels' network stood up for him in 48. Romo, as of today, still has not said a public word. TMZ notes that he still hasn't commented and quietly backed out of his Texas tournament appearance. Silence let the Bodycam, the refusal, now the open container tell the whole story for him. Difference number 2 is that Al Michaels in 2013 had a bulletproof reputation. Tony Romo in 2026 does not. This benching didn't happen in a vacuum, guys. It happened to a guy whose own network reportedly staged home visits over his preparation. A guy the top media reporter in the country said doesn't do the homework. A guy CBS has already watched slide for 3 straight years while paying him top of the market. When Michaels got arrested,
it's so funny because I think he commentates so well. Like, he reads the defense like crazy. Commentates so well. Like, calls plays before they even there. But they always have a issue with him, even on the commentating. They had him on as a quarterback, and now as a commentator. I don't understand.
Happened to a guy whose own network reportedly staged home visits over his preparation. A guy the top media reporter in the country said doesn't do the homework. A guy CBS has already watched slide for 3 straight years, paying him top of the market. When Michaels got arrested, NBC had every reason to protect him. When Romo got arrested, CBS had a decision it maybe already wanted an excuse to make, and a replacement in JJ Watt that they've been developing since 2023. The arrest didn't bench Romo by itself, the arrest just made it easy. And there's one more layer to this, guys. The timing for CBS couldn't be worse. Variety reports the NFL has already held preliminary talks with CBS's new parent company, Paramount Skydance, about the terms of their rights deal. And the league holds an option to renegotiate with most of its TV partners after 2029. So, translation is CBS is sitting across the table from the NFL right now, and they're deciding how hard to fight for a broadcaster that the league's fans have been roasting for 2 seasons. If you follow that money, then Friday morning morning makes a lot more sense. Now, what happens next runs through 2 dates. The season kicks off on September 9th with JJ Watt in the chair, and September 21st, a Monday morning, Tony Romo walks into a Milwaukee courtroom with those blood results presumably in hand, as a man on leave from an $18 million a year job. Until further notice means CBS
18 mil gang. 18 mil, and that's what this disease, or I'm not saying he's alcoholic or addict, but that's what this could do to you, man. Like 18 mil, instead of catching Uber, you're willing to risk driving. And the small chance you can get pulled over, or the small chance you can get in an accident, you know, still tells you go ahead and drive. I have 18 million, go ahead and drive. You know what I'm saying? I know this because I had a great career, you know, in the military. And there's times I took chances and drove knowing that I could throw everything away. It don't make sense, y'all. But again, I understand. But I'm telling you from my personal experience, it does not make sense. It don't make sense. Besides the fact that your mind is being altered and influenced, it's going to tell you to do mostly the wrong thing.
Tony Romo walks into a Milwaukee courtroom, those blood results presumably in hand, as a man on leave from an $18 million a year job. Until further notice means CBS gets to decide what the rest of the story looks like. And whichever they decide, you already know where I'll be. So let me know in the comment section down below. Did CBS do the right thing in benching him, or did they use a traffic citation to solve a problem that they created with a $180 million contract? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload. Defense lawyers.
That's Flight Mike right there, man. Shout out to him. You know, that's for the clip. That's just to get an answer for his question in the chat. You know, did CBS just use this as an excuse? They've been waiting to kind of like dismiss him. So this is a big reason. He gave him a reason. To make it easier. I know the answer. Tony Romo was wrong here. I mean, it's apparent. It's just about the law. It needs to seal it up. But I guess the question I should ask is Tony Romo doing himself a disservice by not saying anything when this happened, not making a statement like George Michaels did, like Charles Barkley did. Apparently it seems like he's doing it, but I'd like to hear from y'all, man. Until next time, man. File report, man. Hit like, hit sub, and drop them comments. I'm willing to hear from you, man. Want to engage, man. Till next time. File report. I'm your boy Doc. I'm gone.